our strategy has been, who are we? What is the message that we're trying to get across? And our message is, hey, there is this thing called an estate plan that most people don't have. And if they do have it, it probably isn't effective. And it's a real thing that affects your family. And hey, we just happen to be human beings who are well-trained and experienced in this area. We are still normal people. And that is very much our strategy, whether we're dealing with a very high net worth client or we're dealing with someone who has a condo and a bank account.
You ever look at someone and think, how do they possibly manage everything going on in their life? Well, today we are talking to the inspiring Lauren Klein of Flourish Law Group, an estate and elder law attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Lauren's a lawyer, she's a mom, she's a coach, she's a podcast host. Oh yeah, she's also an adjunct professor. Really impressive, everything that Lauren's got going on in her life, and she's doing it successfully and at a high level. So you're going to hear how she navigates the many roles in her life. I also believe you're going to gain some insight into her strategies for juggling a demanding career and, again, maintaining that personal life and family life. So Lauren was kind enough to spend time with me today, and for that, I am grateful. I hope you enjoy our conversation with Lauren Klein. Hey, Lauren, how are you?
I'm good, Ashley. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So help people before we get started. Who are you? What do you do? You got your hands in a lot of things, Lauren. So kind of give us the high level of everything you got going on first.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, I am an attorney. So I focus on trust and estates. A couple of years ago, I decided to leave big law. I was about to make partner, and I was at a crossroads of do I make partner and stay at, this big firm, one of the biggest firms in the country, especially for what I do, or do I do this on my own? And I chose door number 2. So I decided to do it on my own, starting a boutique firm with my best friend, who was my college roommate, assigned college roommate. And so it's been a wild ride. I know we'll talk about that and law firm ownership and all of the things. I'm also a mom of 2 boys who are 2 and 4. My little besties. I also coach and mentor law students and lawyers, a lot of focus on mindfulness and well-being, because I don't know if you've heard, but the well-being in the law is not so great, whether it's mental, physical, where we're kind of going through, I think, a bit of a crisis. So focused on, really implementing and giving people tools to have a happy law practice, tools to, cope when things get hard. We do yoga, we do retreats. I'm also the host of the Wealthy Lawyer Squad podcast, where, along the same line, talking about money and well-being. So like you said, I'm doing a lot of different things, but it's cool because it all kind of aligns together, and I'm having fun.
You're doing the most. Let's start with, you started with first the lawyer. So let's start there. Tell us about your firm, the name of your firm. I want to, of course, the marketer side of me wants to start there for a little bit, but tell us a little bit high level about the firm. You start with your best friend.
Sure. So we are Flourish Law Group. Our tagline is we help families flourish at all stages of life. And it's true, because we have anywhere from an 18-year-old with 0 assets, and we're doing a power of attorney and healthcare documents in case something happens while they're away at college. They're now an adult, to make sure that their parents could make healthcare decisions and get information. All the way to high net worth clients, multi-millionaires. At the big firm, it was billionaires with a B. We haven't gotten any of those yet. But really high net worth clients as well, and everyone in between, business owners, parents, people like ourselves. It's been a lot of fun to help them with anything trust and estates. So estate planning, wills and trusts and things like that, income tax efficiency, elder law for some of our elderly clients if they need to qualify for Medicaid. We do probate administration, which our goal is that our clients never have to worry about, kind of the things that happen when you pass away without a good plan or a plan in place. But we do a lot of those, which unfortunately I think is going to increase because we have a great wealth transfer coming over the next couple of decades. There's going to be significant wealth moving from one generation to the next. And the most money that women will ever have in the history of human beings will now be holding. So it's an exciting time, but also a time where we're really trying to lead with education because, we're not talking with our friends or family necessarily about, hey, what happens to my assets if I pass away, or who becomes the guardian for my kids? Like, it's not typical conversations, but we try to make it really accessible and relatable because it's a part of our daily lives.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back to naming the firm Flourish Law Group. I love it from the marketing side. I love that it's not your name. It's an easier brand to market. There's meaning behind it. I love the "We help you flourish in all stages of life." It might be a more attractive, some would say, a more attractive asset to sell one day. So from the business owner side, the entrepreneur side, and the marketing side, I love it. Can you speak to the name, the decision in coming up with the name? You are an entrepreneur. If you read anything that you're putting out on social media or anything you're doing, you can tell you have an entrepreneur mindset. So I would imagine that went into it as well. But I know there was a lot of thought that went into that and not just calling it the Lauren Klein and best friend law firm. So speak to that, if you will, again, marketing and business acquisition side.
Yeah. And thank you. Thank you for the compliment on the name. I was really hesitant to call us Flourish Law Group. I did it intentionally for all the reasons you said. I didn't want it to just be Lauren and Kristen. I wanted it to be a brand that represented something because it can be really hard for clients to even talk about these things. So we wanted it to be something that felt green and luscious and not just doom and gloom. So it was very intentional that it wasn't just about us, right? I was coming from kind of that very traditional big law firm, Holland and Knight, you name it after the founding partners. And it just didn't fit with who we are as humans and who Kristen and I are as lawyers. We wanted it to be something that felt good for people to buy into, right? And also, if we ever do franchise or sell down the road, we wanted it to be something that wasn't just us. But really, it was about the branding more than anything. So people would feel comfortable and they would feel that they associate us with life and not just with death. But thank you, because it was real. I was like, are people going to judge this name? Are they going to think it's frivolous or that we're not serious lawyers who've done really big, things in our careers, which we have? But it's not about us, right? It's about the client at the end of the day.
It is. And I get asked the question so often about branding, and probably the most common question as it relates to the brand is when we're talking to our clients about doing video, I get pushback of, yeah, but I don't want the firm to be about me. Or when someone's rebranding, should I use another name? And I'm all for both. And it's not me speaking out of both sides of my mouth. It's don't name it your name. If you ever have the opportunity or dream of wrapping this up into some sort of merger or acquisition. And then also for the branding side of it, don't name it your name. However, on the branding side, have your face all over it. People do business with people. We do business with people we know, like, and trust. You are not working with me if you come to our agency. Thank God you're not working with me because I'm not the best at it. Right? I started the agency, and when I first started it, I was building the websites, I was writing the social media, I was doing the paid ads because I am a marketer by trade. But this is where I would rather spend my time marketing and let the real professionals do the work. But I'm still the face of the agency, and because it's my vision. It was always my vision. I saw a huge need in the industry of lawyers not really getting transparent marketing, but you can still do that for your law firm. Right? It's still Lauren's voice, and you might not be meeting with every client now or in 5 years. You probably certainly won't be, but it's your vision that you're casting that vision. So I love it. I love that your face is out there, but it's not your name. And this is a perfect example for anyone who's watching and considering doing that. It's a question I get asked often when I'm doing podcasts or speaking is, how can lawyers stand out today? And I say video. Every time video. It's not an outdated practice yet. Yes, a lot of people are not doing video, but not in legal. They're still not doing a lot of it. So I love that you're doing both. So shout out. Kudos to you.
Thank you. And I know I need to be doing more. But thank you so much. I'm really trying. I think it's just, I love doing it. So I've gotten, initially it was, I'm really scared. I don't want to put my face out there. What if I mess it up? Or what if people are like, who's this girl trying to tell me, this woman trying to tell me, now it's okay. I've bought in, I know the value and I enjoy it, but the time.
Yeah. Time is so hard, right? Like the real inside baseball comment here would be like, today is my production day. So I ain't wasting this makeup for nothing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the thought process.
Oh yeah.
So today I'm going to record this. I'm going to record organic, just videos that I'm going to be posting. And then I'm also going to record new paid ads today. So again, like behind the scenes, I tell my clients that too. If you can give it 2 hours today, in 2 hours, I will give my team enough content for months, right? So we'll be able to chop up this video and use it in my paid ads, but it's a way to help us stay authentic. I was on a call yesterday with my sales team, and a guy on our team was telling us that he gets on a call and someone says, "Oh, you're not that girl who's got the Southern accent showing up." And we hear that often. They still do business with us, but my video reached out and grabbed him, and it was a video that said, "Hey, you're a law firm owner and your website sucks." And he gets on and he's like, "I love how honest she was because my website sucks." I'm like, right. So like your authenticity, is what is the game changer. It's Lauren, the mom, the entrepreneur, the podcast host, the coach. They're getting all of that. And it just solidifies your brand so much more. So let's talk more about Flourish on the marketing side of things. I see you all, you do quite a bit of marketing. Of course, I ran an audit on your website before I got on here. So you have an optimized website. I don't know what you're doing ongoing monthly, but I see you do webinars. You've got the downloadables. You've got the videos, social. Of course, you could be doing some more of it, but tell me about the strategy, what's worked and what hasn't worked, or what could you say to somebody watching this of like, hey, for me, this one thing just didn't work, but for this thing, it's really helped grow our firm. What would be that?
Well, the first thing I would say is, as far as strategy goes, when I left, being an employee from boutique firms and big firms to now owning my own business, and I started hanging out with a lot of entrepreneurs and successful ones at that, I realized that like you need a strategy. I didn't even know, I didn't know that was a thing. And I was at some meeting and someone's like, "Oh, it was at the end of last year. They're like, I've got 2025 planned out. I got my social media strategy. I got my event strategy." And I was like, what? We're supposed to be doing that? No one told me we're supposed to be doing that. So I will call my strategy a strategy, because one of my goals this year is to get better at planning things out and intentionally creating content tied to a strategy. But so far, our strategy has been who are we? What is the message that we're trying to get across? And our message is, hey, there is this thing called an estate plan that most people don't have. And if they do have it, it probably isn't effective. And it's a real thing that affects your family. And hey, we just happen to be human beings who are well-trained and experienced in this area. We are still normal people. And that is very much our strategy, whether we're dealing with a very high net worth client or we're dealing with someone who has a condo and a bank account. The strategy, we might change our tone and our approach a bit, but the strategy is still the same, because we want to attract clients that work well with us, that we get along with, right? Like I don't just need to make money. I want clients who we have a good relationship with, because this is an ongoing process. And I have worked with plenty of jerks in my 13 years of law practice. I don't want to do that anymore because I don't have to. So the strategy has been, and we're still at the infancy stages of all of this, just creating content that reflects who we are to attract the people that we intend to attract. And I would say, obviously, video has done really well. Social media, Instagram, believe it or not, I was very hesitant about Instagram at first. We've gotten so many clients from Instagram. It's incredible. So I'm a believer. But at first I was like, I don't know, just like the whole Flourish name. I'm like, is this professional enough? The answer is yes, because that's where people get their information from.
Yeah, they do. I mean, we see that buying decisions are made from social platforms, and that goes into the strategy part of when I will meet someone of what marketing strategy should I be doing? Should I be doing TikTok? I don't know. Let's look. Who is your client? Where are they spending their time? You cannot put all your eggs in one basket. We have to cast as many nets as possible, right? So for our clients, the baseline strategy is website and SEO. Every client of ours has website and SEO. It's organic ranking. It's mailbox money. It's the marathon, not the sprint. Then do you need to be doing paid ads? Maybe. Do you need to be doing email marketing? Yeah, if you're an estate planning firm, you're a family law firm. If you're a personal injury, you don't need to be doing email marketing because they either need you now or they don't, right? So going back to that, I love to hear that you have a strategy. You do. You might not, it might not be as buttoned up as you want it to be, but there is one there. Okay, so this is the Flourish side of things. You guys are growing. How long did you start the firm?
We started the firm just over 2 years ago.
Okay. All right. So it's flourishing as well. No pun intended. Okay. So let's now go to, this is the lawyer side of thing. Let's go to the coach and podcast side. So talk to us about what that looks like. Who can you help? Tell me about the Wealthy Lawyer Squad podcast. Tell me about both sides of that too.
Yeah. So it came to me as an idea when I was still in Big Law. It was 2020. So I was working from home. I was very pregnant and with my first child, and I was sitting in my home office billing ungodly amounts of billable hours every day. And I was listening to all these life coach podcasts because the world was like going to hell in a handbasket around us. And I was working all these crazy hours while pregnant. I was like, I need to keep my mind right so I can continue to have this output so I can get my bonus at the end of the year and do a good job, obviously, too. And all of a sudden, I just had this light bulb moment of, okay, we know the stats that mental health and well-being and physical well-being in the law is it's bad. It's just bad. Let's just be honest. And I thought to myself, why don't we have information programming specifically for lawyers about the unique struggles and challenges and wonderful things that happen as well that occur during law school and then in your law practice? Like, for example, in law school, you go from being probably, the smartest or one of the smartest kids in your class from like kindergarten through college. And all of a sudden you end up in this room at orientation with everyone who was also the smartest kid in their class. And now you're battling over a very steep curve, a grading curve. And all of a sudden your validation and your self-worth is tied to like all of these external factors, maybe more so than ever before, right? So we wonder why law school creates like a mental health issue or crisis for so many people that maybe never really even like struggled before. All of a sudden, imposter syndrome and anxiety is like rearing its ugly head. Oh, I didn't even mention this. I'm also an adjunct professor at my law school. I teach wills and trusts, and I see it firsthand in the students. Like they are struggling because it's really, really hard, especially that first year. Oftentimes your whole grade for one class is dependent on one exam. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Maybe you're trying to keep a scholarship. Maybe you're trying to hit a certain GPA so you can get a job. So I had this idea of why don't I become a coach for, originally it was just law students, then it morphed into also lawyers, especially young lawyers who are kind of transitioning from law school to practice, where I can create courses for them that they can do group coaching so they can talk about what they're going through, because we all know no matter what we're going through, if we have like-minded individuals around us, it helps us. And how can I create, events and free content that all focuses on well-being, physical, mental, and financial, because I'm a big personal finance nerd and I'm all about let's make some money. And it's interesting because less than 10% of lawyers are millionaires, which is crazy because a lot of people think, oh, lawyers make all this money. Some do, some don't. But it's keeping the money. It's what you do with the money that matters. So that is how it was born, and a little bit about all the things I've got going on in there.
Okay, so then tie in the podcast. Is the podcast used to be an outlet of resource for the coaching? Is that the thought there?
So it's one way to provide a lot of really good, just free content. So I have a lot of guests on. I'll have financial advisors on or other lawyers. So it's just free content that people can access about, okay, what was that person's, journey in the law? How did they find the area of law they're in? Or, what is money mindset? What does that mean? So from a content perspective, it's a way for people who just want free content to find it. And it's also marketing. It's a way to show, okay, what are we actually talking about in these courses and these group coaching programs in this community? What is actually going on here? What are the things that I believe in and how do I approach them? And what am I doing in my own life when it comes to my wealth and my goals and my challenges and my struggles and my wins and successes? So it's free content and marketing.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Give me like top, not best is an overrated term, but a good book that you've read or a podcast that's helped you in this journey with personal finance or entrepreneurship.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So in my community, when you enroll in one of the programs, you get in like a 12-month community. One of the things we do is a money and mindset book club. So I have a ton of books that I can share.
I never joined this club.
It's the conversations are really, really good. And we try to read like not super dense, long books. So the most recent books that we read were Your Money or Your Life. I'm forgetting that Vicki Robbins and I think one other author. Please don't quote me on that. We just finished reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Reading it probably for the third time right now.
Yeah.
Also, while I'm simultaneously reading, his CPA wrote a book. Have you read that?
No.
Oh gosh, it's now going to leave me. But about the tax strategy that he deploys in his life. So that's a good one to add on to that club.
And that's perfect because the book club members were asking me for a tax book that wasn't boring. So there you go. Thank you. My homework is done. Thank you.
That one. I'll send you the link. I'm going to make a note to send you the link.
Yeah. Another couple good ones. The Richest Man in Babylon, I think is really good. The Millionaire Next Door, which is perfect for lawyers because the book talks a lot about how you can be a high earner, but if you have high spending and high debt, that can really hold you back, as opposed to if you're like in a trade, like a plumber, you can, your profit margins, if you will, from your career can be much higher. And it's not just if you spend it all. I saw it. I was literally at one of the biggest firms with some of the wealthiest law partners, at big firms. And I saw it, they had the huge houses, they had the really nice cars. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, but when you're putting yourself in the golden handcuffs, if I had done that, like most of my colleagues, I wouldn't have been able to leave with 2 young kids and a husband in law enforcement to start a firm. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. I was fortunate to be taught personal finance as a young child. It was, Dave Ramsey. I thought he was an uncle, it was like the amount of, it's Dave Ramsey, certainly an acquired taste, but it's grown. My love for personal finance has grown. And then my husband comes into our marriage. He also has a love for personal finance. So I feel fortunate to have been propelled into that world. But seeing, these are conversations that he and I have often, seeing the example that you just said of, I could not have started my firm. I could not have started my business if we weren't in a great position financially. And it was, hey, yeah, cool. Take the risk. And that's a conversation that I love having. And it's also heartbreaking to see somebody who's like really passionate and wanting to do something, but they can't. Yeah. Because the car payment, the couch payment, the house payment, the student loans, it's so important. And I love that you are open about that. I'll add to your books. The one that sits behind me, or the picture of my nephew. I don't have children, so the picture of my nephew sitting there. Buy Back Your Time. Have you ever read that?
No.
Dan Martell.
Ooh.
Dan Martell. Buy Back Your Time.
Ooh, okay.
Great one to add to your book club there. About just how to prioritize your time. Are you tracking your time? Let's start there of what are you doing with your time every day? How are you spending it? And really being intentional with your time. So tell me, you're a mom of 2, you're a coach, you're a podcast host, you're a lawyer, you're an adjunct professor. Let's just casually throw in that one. What does your day look like? Again, a question I have. We provide marketing for lawyers, but we're often in the conversation of strategy and just setting up your business. What does your day look like? How strict are you on your scheduling? Just from a high level, again, if someone's looking at this saying, I'm really overwhelmed, I've got 2 kids, I'm an adjunct professor, I'm a coach, How do you do it? What does it look like? Tell me kind of the struggle. And I know it's probably been a struggle of finding that balance. So what does that look like for you?
Well, and for anyone who's listening who's overwhelmed, me too. So don't stress it. It really started back when I was still in big law. And I said to myself, what do I actually want my day to look like? Like, if I'm going to do this thing, if I'm going to leave the like $500,000 a year salary and go do this thing, what do I actually like want to accomplish? What do I want my day to look like? And I'm not there yet in the perfect world, but I have set out from the very beginning to try to structure it that way. So every day is a little different, and I'll kind of really quickly go day by day. But for me, I'm a mom of 2 kids and my husband's in law enforcement. He's out the door by 6:30, 6:45 every day. So it's me and the kids in the morning. So it's, trying to meditate or journal or maybe do emails depending on the day before they get up. Coffee first, latte with oat milk every day. Then it's getting the kids off to school. Mondays is our no meeting day, unless we make exceptions. But Monday is I go to therapy in the morning virtually. I take a walk. I then meet with my law partner. We have our partner meeting where we go over what's going on with all of our clients, our leads. What do we got? What events do we have coming up? What workshops, whatever it might be. That's our day to like no makeup, no hopefully like outside people coming into our introvert world. Get ready for the week. Avoid Sunday scaries. Tuesday, Wednesdays are like balls to the walls, like meetings. We have Calendly links. So people are booking meetings. We're sticking people in where we can, client meetings, consultations, all the things. So Tuesday, Wednesdays are like our insanity days. Thursdays, I have BNI virtually, which is a networking group for those who are listening. And I get on and my kids are in the background and it's hilarious. And then I'm like running out of the door and the house is a disaster on Thursdays. My mother-in-law gets there. I'm like, it's Thursday. This is what the house looks like. It's crazy. Fridays, my ultimate goal is to take off at least one Friday a month. That has happened, I think, once in 2-ish years. But that is the goal. That is what we are working towards. Even though it's not happening now, we are going to make it happen. And then I try not to work on the weekends. And if I am, it's something that like lights me up, like creating a new module for one of my courses, or like this weekend, my law partner and I hopped on just to do some cleanup. So we're not like as crazy during the week, but I really try to spend time with my family, just enjoy life. That's why we're all here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So some thoughts there is I love that you're intentional about it and your life is just not happening to you. Right? Like you're really taking control of that. I have a very similar model that I have yet to achieve 1 week. I've not even, but I at least try and attempt my same thing on Fridays. Haven't done it yet. A couple weeks ago, I did take off half a day on a Friday and my husband and I went and played golf. That's how we met. That's our love language. So that's what I would love to do. Right. But I love that you're intentional about that of these days, this days, this. So if anybody, I think maybe you would be surprised, but because you are organized and you're kind of on your shit I think you would be surprised. Like the people I talk to who they're just life just is constantly happening to them. And that's so easy. Like no shame on that. That's so easy for that to happen, but you really have to take a step back and say, this is what I'm doing. Right. I might be a mom, but hey, I can still get it done on Tuesday. My family knows I'm working at the office till midnight. Hey, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But at least you know that and you're planned and you're strategizing for that. So, I was really curious to know that as someone who seems to be stretched in a lot of different areas, but you still have this nucleus of what's most important to you, your children, your husband, your family, and then your practice, you're still able to manage it all.
And the reality is, and I forget who, I heard someone say this recently and I got a little teary eyed. So I was like, thank you for saying this. The reality is if I am exceeding in one area, whether it's my law firm, my coaching, my teaching, being a mom, being a wife, it means I'm probably in that moment failing in other areas in some way because you can't do it all at once. You know what I mean? Like there might be nights where I'm like, there's emails that I need to get back to and I'm just not going to because I'm going to go play Legos. You know what I mean? And that's like just part of the human experience. And I think we all need to give ourselves a little, like, yes, plan and be organized, but like give ourselves grace. And I have been the person that life is happening to. Like that was me for years and years and years. So I have been there and that's not the only way. You can find another way, regardless of what's happening in your life.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I think it just takes creativity, of you can fit it in. You might not can fit it all in. You might have to make some sacrifices, but you can fit in a lot. It's going to take some creativity on your part of what's got to give, what's most important, like you said. Yeah. Tell me, I love that you're entrepreneur mind, Lauren. I appreciate that. I have so much respect for that. Because I know it doesn't come naturally. It requires the amount of time people haven't seen you listening to podcasts, reading the books, attending the conferences, applying that, using your critical thinking skills. I understand the hustle in that of training myself to become an entrepreneur. It is not given to become a leader. It is not given to become a boss. The hardest part of my journey has been becoming a boss. So I appreciate that because I know the hours that it's taken for you to get there. But it seems like you've really got an entrepreneur mindset and mentality in how you approach everything. So let's wrap things up. I can't believe we've been talking this long. I really enjoyed talking to you, and you're successful in so many ways and an inspiration in so many ways. Tell me what's next. What are you looking forward to? What does the next chapter maybe look like?
So I'm looking forward to right now. I'm in the midst of a pilot of my newest course called the Become a Wealthy Lawyer course. So I'm excited to wrap up the pilot and really fully launch it to the world. It is something that really means a lot to me, and I'm really excited about. On the family side, I don't know if it's going to happen this summer, but every summer I really want to start going somewhere, whether it's abroad or another state, and spending like at least a month somewhere else with my kids so I can show them the world that they're learning about in school. We're starting to learn about, they're so little. That's something that's really important to me. That's kind of like very forward thinking. And then on the law firm side, just continuing to grow. I think we're going to have a lot of opportunity over the next couple decades to really help a lot of people. And so just to continue to grow our team. We're not trying to get huge, but we want to be, in a successful boutique law firm that really is making change. That's the intention, at least.
Yeah. I think you're well on your way. I think you're on your way. All right. Tell me, how can people get a hold of you? What is a great referral and connection for you? And then how can that person get a hold of you?
Yeah. So I am always on Instagram at lawyer Lauren Klein. I hang out on there a lot. It's kind of my go-to. They can also listen to the Wealthy Lawyer Squad podcast. They can reach out to us on our email, on our website, flourishlawgroup.com. We have a contact button, and we're behind the scenes building. So it does things when we're not, when we're sleeping, and hopefully gets all the info to us so we can give you a call, or our team can. So we'd be happy to connect with anyone, whether, on the estate planning side, if someone just is starting a law firm and just wants someone to commiserate with, or is a law student or a lawyer. And our favorite referral source, I would say, from the law firm perspective, is a family with children with some great assets that really doesn't even know what a trust is, or a will is, or a power of attorney, and maybe why they even need it. That's our favorite, because we get to educate and build, hopefully a long-standing relationship with that family as they continue to grow their wealth.
Lauren, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, Ashley. Likewise, as always. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.